Hey guys, Alex here from 2560px.com, and in this tutorial I'll be showing you how to edit and set up my free glitch stinger transition. For this tutorial you will need Adobe After Effects, QuickTime and your streaming software. We will be using Adobe After Effects to edit the template provided and to render the video into the QuickTime format for our stinger transition. So to briefly explain what a stinger transition is, a stinger transition is where your transition includes something that will cover the whole screen at a certain point. While the screen is covered, the background footage will switch. Very simple, very effective, and has a lot of creative possibilities. Okay, so to begin, let's open up After Effects. Go to File, Open Project, and open up the free glitch stinger transition file. Okay, first, make sure this icon right here is toggled on. This icon toggles transparency within the project. You will know it is on if the icon is blue, or your composition has the transparency pattern, like so. The 0 frame mark should be completely transparent. This is so we can preview the transition later. Okay, so let's click on the tab that says Change Logo. We can do whatever we want in this composition. If you want text, your logo, a random picture, or whatever, we will add it here. For this example, we will be using a logo. Let's go ahead and go to File, Import, File, and select our logo. Drag your logo onto the composition like so, and let's align it to the center. If you don't have this Align tab, you can go to Window, Align. Make sure your logo file is selected, and that the Align Layers 2 box says Composition. Then click on the Center vertically and center horizontally icons. If you wanted to do this with text instead, we would click on the text tool at the top and click on the composition screen and start typing. The alignment steps are the exact same, but make sure your text alignment is to the center too, by clicking here under the paragraph options. Again, if you don't see this box, you can go to Window, Paragraph. This composition size is relative to the actual transition, so we don't want the contents to be too big or too small. Let's fix this by hitting S on the keyboard while the logo is still selected to bring up the scale transformation. We can adjust this to however we like, so I'll just do this to how I'd personally like it. Make sure the scaling ratio is fixed so we don't distort the contents. Now we're happy with the size, let's go back to the main composition tab. Here we can preview how our transition would look like. If you're not happy with the size, we can just go back to the Change Logo tab and adjust again. Now, let's render out our transition into a video format we can use. Check that you're on the main composition first, and then go up to Composition, Add to Render Queue. This will take you to the Render Queue tab. We will leave the render settings how they are, but we will need to change the output module. Click on the lossless text to open up this menu. Here we will change the format from AVI to QuickTime. If you don't see QuickTime, you will need to download it for the video codec. A quick Google search for QuickTime will get you there, and I'll include a link in the description for the lazy. We will then change the video output channels from RGB to RGB plus alpha. This is so that we can retain the transparency used in our composition. We don't have any audio, so let's just turn audio output off. Press OK and we're done. Now, let's just rename the file by clicking on the Output to text. Let's just call it Glitch Transition. Press OK and render. Okay, so now we have our stinger transition with our edits and in the appropriate format. Let's add this transition to our streaming software. In this example, I will be using Streamlabs OBS, but the steps are the same or at least similar for the other programs such as regular OBS Studio and etc. Let's click on this settings icon here by the scenes box to edit the scene transition. Click on Add Transition and let's call it Glitch Stinger. Change the type to Stinger and the menu should add more fields. Here we will add our transition video file. And let's change the transition point type to frames. Change the value to 20 so the scenes will switch 20 frames into the transition. There should be more than enough time for the transition to take effect. Let's leave the other settings how they are and press Done. Now select our stinger transition as default and press Done. And we're done! Our transition has been added to our streaming software. Now whenever you change scenes, your transition will go off like so. And that's going to be it for this tutorial. I hoped you were able to edit and set up your glitch stinger transition with no problems. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or message me on Twitter. You can find my Twitter in the description below, along with the project file and the links for QuickTime. Thank you once again for watching this tutorial, and I hope to see you next time.